Hello all, and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. As we've now thankfully achieved the difficult task and goal of trying to fight our way to the bottom of the mines, I've now allowed myself to take a small breather. There's still the small matter of the ginger export that needs to occur, which that shouldn't be too much of a problem, one hopes. However, I've got a lot of material to process through first, such as all this radioactive ore and all of these bits of iridium and all the extra gubbins that needs working through, so I'm going to start smelting all of that as well. Now, whilst I have that, some of my plans that I've outlined for this week are to achieve a few more cooking items, so actually complete a few more cooking tasks, so it shouldn't be too difficult, just got to make sure I cook a good number of dishes that I haven't cooked before and ship them out. Number 2, build the additional obelisks that I want to build. I want to have at least Ginger Islands one built. Now I know for a fact I need bananas and dragon fangs for it. I think I need like 30 iridium bars for it as well, so it's not a cheap one and it's like 1,000,000 anyway, so I need to visit the wizard for that. As well as that, I'd like to try to get the earth one, which I think needs earth crystals, and that's the one that teleports you to the mountain. I cannot remember what the beach one needs. I can't remember if it's sea urchins, clams. It's a mixture of weird and wonderful, I'm pretty sure. As well as that, I'm allowing myself kind of a day to sort of just like work my brain back into where we're needing to be and what stuff needs to happen. So as well as that, I'd also like to potentially look at moving some of the farm buildings around on the farm, because I feel that that would probably be an advantageous thing to do, because that way we can actually end up with a decent amount of space. I can optimize the layout of the farm and actually just make everything a bit better, which is, you know, kind of what I'm after. However, I've got to figure out what other things that need to be placed in different locations and what buildings do I want and need. Now, at the moment, I've got 2 coops. I'm tempted to probably sell a couple of the chickens that I've got, because although mayonnaise is great and all, I don't really need to have 2 coops. I think I should probably get rid of a few of the animals in the main coop and try to condense them and remove that other coop building, because then I'll have a single barn, a single coop, and essentially just work with that. I've got 2 sheds. I'd kind of like to get a third one, and with the third one I would like to have it so that it is oh my goodness, that is so much wine ready. My goodness, this is going to be an interesting refill day. Here we go. Yeah, I would like to try and build a third shed, and in that third shed I'd like to fill it with the pots, which one can seed anything in, because what I could then use it for is as a starfruit repository. You know, just cycling through expensive crops that don't have the capability of giant crop, because I feel that it would be more beneficial to me to plant larger crops, things like cauliflowers and pumpkins and melons and such, outside, because that has a greater chance of creating a giant crop. But that's my logic at the moment on that one. The shed itself will be a tricky one, because it's going to be really using crops to be turned into alcohol. So I don't need to worry about quality so much. So what I'm planning on having is the fertilizer that never needs to be watered again, and that way I can just leave it to grow, go in once a week just to check and grab and just harvest. Because if I have plants that have a reasonable time cycle for their growth, like the starfruit, which, if memory serves, has about a 2-week growing period. I think it's 12 or 14 days. I can never really remember. What that'll then mean is that then I'll then have a good constant cycle of starfruit coming in, which would be good. For that, of course, I'll need a lot of refined quartz, I'll need a lot of clay and stone. I have clay, I have stone, the refined quartz is going to be the issue. But again, not too difficult, particularly if I fish up a lot of trash. Because if I use my original rock, actually, to be fair, if I just cast into this river that runs through my farm, any CDs and broken glasses I get, I throw into the trash recycling thing, and then lo and behold, I'm going to end up with refined quartz, because that's kind of what those two generate, which would be fantastic. Now, once that's built and laid out, I'd like to put those over by where the stone deposits are, because then all 3 barns can go there. I'm going to put the teleporter so that the obelisks link to there. And on the left hand side, like as you can see, like on the bottom part of the screen here, over the river, I'm going to then have my Junimo hut and crops being grown and harvested. So sprinkler systems, all of that jazz. Lovely. And that way I'll have a decent amount of crops coming in and just essentially almost being self-managed. Yes, I'll need to go and sort out the sheds, but having the sheds next to one another as well means that I can just go in and turn them all into wine. Because, yeah, starfruit wine is going to be my main killer, I think. Ooh, a nautilus shell. I'm sure I can figure that one out. And potentially moving things around a bit more is kind of the aim of this thought process. I've got a rough idea of how I want things to be laid out, but it's going to be figuring out also where am I going to put the obelisks and where am I going to put the greenhouse, because the greenhouse is quite a large building, but it can be moved. What I'd also like to do is then place where the greenhouse roughly is another Junimo hut, and essentially have 2 large areas of crop growth, which again, as I've whinged before on this channel about the fact that I don't actually have anywhere near as much land space as I'd actually quite like, but I can make do. It's not like I have no land space, it's just I don't have as much capable farming land as would be regularly available within the normal farm. But that's just how that goes. So, once I've created that, then I will have all of my, essentially all my stuff ready to go. And that's kind of what I'm after, just being able to have everything ready, everything sorted, and have all the growth of crops organised and prepared. Because really, that's all I can say to it, is just having everything ready. However, that being said, I still also need to do the very important task of dealing with the ginger. Now, the ginger is going to be a bit of a potential issue, because I don't know how well I'm going to be able to manage the amounts of ginger I need, and even if I can actually obtain that much. Because that's going to be the big question, is am I going to be able to get enough ginger to actively complete what I need to do? I need 100. So hopefully I'll find it on Ginger Island, because it's not like I can cultivate it. It's a random spawn. But I can get it from the tiger slimes, so if I have to go on a slimer side, fair enough. I will go murdering slimes left, right and centre if that's what's required of me. But all the same, we will have to figure that one out when we come to it. So that's really going to be the main hurdle. Just figuring out where on earth I'm going to be able to put things, organize stuff, you know, get everything organized. Because that's kind of what I need to do at the moment, is just making sure that I can set up everything ready to go. And I'm painfully aware that that is really my big, not bugbear, but that's the big issue I've got at the moment. Now, one of the other things that I've also got to be aware of is that the fair is on, the boat fair, what's it called, the midnight market or something. That's happening. And that's going to potentially impact my ability to sail to Ginger Island, because I want to be able to get to Ginger Island quickly enough, but I fear that if I'm unable to, then, well, I'm going to essentially screw myself over slightly. But we're going to have to see how that works. Because, again, I'd like to get to Ginger Island and sort out the ginger today, but I don't think that's going to happen. Which does give me not entirely cause for concern. It's only a day, but if at the end of this I actually miss by what would essentially be a day's worth of ginger, then yeah, I'm going to be miffed. Because then, yeah, I will have essentially royally screwed myself over. Which is a possibility I'm kind of looking at in, not with nervous trepidation, but with a sort of a suspicious side eye, because it's that this is a possibility and this is going to annoy me if this is the case. Which is a shame, because shockingly enough, I'd quite like to actually get the appropriate amount of resources and get everything done. I'm sure any of you who've also played Stardew will also have had something vaguely similar occur, because Sod's Law always decides to rain on your parade in the worst way possible. And it's entirely what I'm expecting to happen. So, it's very much the we will see what we will see, unfortunately. But for now, oh, I've run out of space in the inventory again. Let's crack open some more stuff. Well, let's just sell a bunch of these things that I don't need or really honestly care about. Because that's the big thing really here, is that I've got lots of resources that I don't really give any care for. And that's the trouble with the geodes, is they're not really actively that useful. Which seems awful to kind of suggest, but honestly, when you look at a lot of the end resources from them, they're not really that handy, are they? I mean, yes, wow, I've got some stone, or, ooh, I got some exciting resources. It's not often that you actually say that I got some exciting resources out of a geode. It's why I'm kind of debating, although Omni geodes were really useful early on, because of their likelihood of dropping harder to obtain minerals, now that I've actually obtained all the minerals that I need for the museum, I'm kind of debating trying to trade them all in for the treasure troves, because those have a greater chance to try to get the artifacts that I still haven't got, which is that golden mask and the rare disc. And yeah, they might be kind of handy. But the thing is, I could have sworn I've had the rare disc. Maybe I'm just... not that I'm hallucinating, but maybe I'm misremembering. The trouble is, because I have had multiple save-throughs of Stardew Valley, and that might be why, really. Because, yeah, I've been playing it on my phone, because Xbox Game Pass is a thing, and I have a, oh, what are they called? The phone holders, the Backbone. I have a Backbone thing. Which, you know, that's kind of cool. That means I can play on my phone in bed and not have to, like, use a hilarious, elaborate construction of USB-C to standard USB and then plugging in an Xbox controller. Stuff like that I can actually play just quite easily. which has been quite entertaining because playing Battlefield with a couple of friends from the comfort of my bed playing onto my phone has been very weird. I will freely admit I am not very good at Battlefield when it's played on a phone. It's very hard. But it was fun to do. And that's kind of, you know, the be on all and end all for me there. Was it entertaining? Could I feasibly do it? Whether it was any success is a different question. So, I need to get aquatic. Well, I could just do rigger fish, or I could do specifically lingcod. Now, I already need lingcod anyway. So, I think I'm just going to do with the river population one, because I think that'll actually be easier. Because it's just any. I can't remember how many lingcod you actually need to catch when it comes to the... Oh, goodness. Like the special, there is a bunch of lingcod, they need to all be killed, sort of thing. I can't remember how many you actually need to get rid of. I think it's only like 10, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a I will have to see. Righty, so here's our lovely, not fate, but what's it called? Event type thing going on here, which is lovely and all. And actually I might pick up a couple of useful things, like, I mean, a free cup of coffee. That's a good start. I'm never going to be too upset about that. It's the other things, like the kind of handy to have crops. And now I'm pretty sure I bought all the lupinis, but I can't remember if he sells a different one each year as well as each day. So I'm going to buy them just so I have them more than anything. If I've got them already, I've got them already, and it's not the end of the world, and I'm not too upset. But if I don't, well, I've got myself another piece of art which will go somewhere in the house, maybe. I'm really bad at remembering to put the art up. That's my biggest problem, is I forget to actually bother doing it. Genuinely, that's my biggest foible, is I always forget to actually bother. So, you know, it has its issues, I think, is the easiest way of putting it. But all the same, I'm going to buy a bunch of seeds ready for the new year. Because there's no harm in being prepared, really. And Pierre's not getting the money. It's not that I dislike Pierre, it's just his general thing, but he does just strike me as a bit of an ass a lot of the time. And the fact that he tries to palm off the fact that you've been growing stuff, and he always like almost claiming that it's him getting it. It's like, dude, no. That's just not cricket. So, that's a thing. What I am going to do, though, is I'm definitely going to explore the undersea here. See if I can get anything exciting. Because that's the thing, is I've not really not fished anything from out here from a while. And one of the things that I do know that I need and really want to get a hold of is I want to get some squid. Because I don't think I have any. And squid are kind of handy as a resource for cooking. But I can't remember if you catch them down here or if you catch them on the regular shoreline. I know you catch the midnight squid, but I'm not sure if the midnight squid itself is considered a squid for cooking purposes. We'll soon see, though. Because that's kind of what I'm aiming to find out at the moment. Because, shock and horror, I'd like to know. But for the same time, I'm catching blobfish, spookfish. You know, I've got lots of the weird and wonderful coming in, which is good. I do enjoy how, like, obviously some of the fish are, like, real legit things, but some of them are just, this isn't quite a fever dream, but what? Sorts of levels of, this is a strange creature, isn't it? So, midnight squid. What else are we going to catch? Something useful, I hope. I mean, that's the big hope that we have, really, in playing this, isn't it? That we catch something that's vaguely useful. But who knows? that's the thing, is there's lots of interesting fish in the game that are weird, and I did quite enjoy this when this was added, because I remember when this was like really new, especially for me, because I'd taken some time away from playing Stardew, and then coming back and finding this entire environment was really cool. It was like unusual, it was different, and I really liked it as a new extra thing, because it was just like, oh, this is different. This makes me happy. It's essentially how it really boiled down to, is it was different and unusual, and I like that. So, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to work our way down. Well, I say down. We're going to work our way back up to the surface soon enough, because we need to head back up to home and to try and sort things out there. Question really is going to come, well, can I catch down here that's going to be of much more use to me? And how easily can I use it, I guess. Right, well, let's get ourselves preparing to head back up. I'm not quite sure what time's going to be the most important to head on back up through. I mean, of course, part of me wants to say the sooner rather than later, because I don't really want to mess myself over and screw up on actually getting back to the farm, because I've done that enough times where I've passed out on the submarine, and my goodness, have I felt like a complete moron, because I've just been unconscious and just gone, well, that was annoying. I've now essentially wasted a chunk, because who knows what I'm going to lose for passing out unconscious on a submarine, which is kind of creepy as well. Like, imagine being the guy who's running the sub, and then just some guy gets on your sub, and then just round 2 o'clock just passes out. Now, of course, they're going to be like exhausted. Yeah, it's fair enough. You know, they're a farmer. It's understandable. But what if everybody just randomly passes out at 2 o'clock in this world? Because then that submarine driver, well, submarine sailor, captain. I was trying to figure out the right word there. I was thinking driver, pilot. No. Yeah. So the captain, if he passes out, oh god, it's all going to end horribly, horribly wrong, isn't it? Because then we're both going to be stuck at the bottom of the sea. And yeah, we've already seen what happens with that. And less said about that, the better, probably. So we're going to head on back up to the surface now, because of course that's the main aim we've got right now. So once we head back up to the surface, we will hopefully get ourselves a little bit more exciting stuff going. So here we go. Back up to the surface we trot. And we've got a couple of other things that we need to organise. Nothing super major, but, you know, we can handle it. So tomorrow we have a definite need to go to Ginger Island. There's no ifs, and or buts about it. We need to go to Ginger Island tomorrow. How well that's going to work? Different question. So hopefully we actually find maybe 10, 15 bits of ginger. I honestly don't know what the average harvesting amount is of ginger on Ginger Island on a day-to-day basis. So I'm kind of curious to see, because it could be something really useful. It could be something really good. Who knows? I really hope it is, because yeah, it needs to happen. I know I'm being very ridiculous potentially on this, but it is an important thing. We need to be able to find out, get a decent amount of ginger from Ginger Island, and hopefully that'll sort us out. Because that's kind of all I'm after. Just the ginger. Give me the ginger. But also, that being said, I've had a couple of very interesting conversations with people recently about just generally ginger. And it kind of reminded me of all the dumb stuff that I did when I was younger, where I and my girlfriend at the time actually ended almost getting thrown out of a sushi restaurant because we ate all of their pickled ginger. Yeah, that was a fun day. The trouble is, I very much enjoy sushi. I'm an absolute fiend for it. But I'm a sucker for raw fish and for pickled ginger. Pickled foods as a whole is genuinely a weakness of mine. So it's I'm easily manipulated, I think is the easiest way of putting it, when it comes to that. So hopefully I don't end up with that happening again. And I know it's very silly, but c'est la vie. Right, well, it's 1:10, so it's time to head to bed. Because, yeah, that's look at all that fat stacks of cash. 350,000 almost. That is fantastic money. So we made a lot today, which is good. We just need to keep making a lot. Because we've got some very expensive purchases to make. We still also need to get the return scepter from Krobus. I'm still trying to debate when is a good plan to get that. Is it, do I try to aim for that earlier? Because I'm not sure. But it will make a lot of my shenanigans a lot easier, because it means I can almost delay how quickly I return home a lot of the time, because then I can actually just entirely rely on the fact that I can teleport home overnight. So we'll see. It's still very much not quite up in the air as an idea, but it's a debated concept, I think, at the moment. At the moment, I could definitely afford it, but I don't know whether I want to sink all 2 million into a return scepter right now. It's a very big consideration at the moment, I think, is the easiest way of putting it. I want it, but I'm not entirely sure if it's worth it right away. But like I say, more of the shenanigan nonsense means that I'll actually be able to do things with it. But the thing is, I've never actually ever bought it, because I think I've never really played through Stardew and ever really focused on actually making large quantities of money. I've usually played it and just mucked about, just doing dumb stuff and seeing what things work. So now that I'm actively trying to make money and actually have a financially viable farm, I might end up with a somewhat half-decent amount of money and actively able to get the things that the game kind of rewards you for. At the same time, I've never bought the golden clock. I've just never had the, well, honestly, never had the opportunity to purchase it because I've been flat broke. Because I just go around doing dumb stuff and not actually really doing anything that helps. So it's very much my own stupid fault. I will freely admit that. So hopefully this can work out well for us. Also, giving Krobus 2 million it's such a large amount of money. At the same time, so are buying the warp obelisks. They are not cheap to buy, and they are going to eat up a lot of my time as well in gathering the resources. But same thing can be said, they are going to facilitate easier shenanigans, because then I can teleport around the world quicker. I can get around places quicker. I don't have to faff. I can just kind of just get out of the way and do things how I see fit, which is really the best thing that I can think of, to be fair. So we're gonna see, because we could end up with something real handy. Fingers crossed though, because actually being able to work our way through and find all the places we need to be, well, that'd be really nice and helpful, actually. Especially if we can get everything all in one go. But again, we will see. Okay, so what have we got here? Okay, nothing super exciting right now. Certainly can sort of live. Come on. Well, let's just sell these things that we don't need and don't really care about. Because as you can see, there's a few things that I'm just not too phased about. It's not that I'm nonplussed entirely, it's just that, I don't really need it. But anyway. It's still reasonably bright and early on Tuesday. We've still got an opportunity to get down to ensure that we get to Ginger Island on time. And that's really the big thing that we've got going for us, is we need to get to Ginger Island at a reasonable time frame. And I don't think that's impossible. Goodness gracious, look at all the pickled pumpkins and yams. I know I need to grow some more yams. I keep forgetting to check if I actually have any. But it's one of those things that I know I need to use them for some of the cooking. So that's kind of the big thing on that one. But we will soon see, at least. Anyway, so we've got lots of stuff to sort out there. And as I'm sort of like rambling about, I think I need some... What are they called? Yeah, the yams themselves, as they will give me some kind of useful benefits, really. If I look at it on a kind of an objective way. It might sound very silly, but being able to have the yams will be handy for giving me access to other cooking recipes that I haven't completed. And that's kind of a big thing, really, when I think about it. Because there's a lot of general cooking nonsense that I still need to complete. And yeah, if I can complete it all, I will need to get a bunch of extra resources for it. And that's kind of my biggest foible, is there's a lot of additional crops that I haven't used or obtained to allow me to do that, and that's going to be a big thing that I need to do. Because again, shockingly enough, I'd quite like to successfully wheedle my way through getting everything done. And again, I've never actually done the cook everything before. And again, don't know whether it's like anything particularly as a main reason as to why I've never done it. I've just never got around to doing it, which seems very counterproductive, really. It's just it's not that I have any issue with doing the cooking, it's just I've been, to be fair, it's probably more that I've been very lazy and not wanted to bother getting my way through all of the ingredients and actually working my way through everything, you know, more effectively. But that's not something that should faze me too much, because I think I can do that this time. I think I can generate the appropriate resources I need. I need to get the food. I need to get everything ready, and you know, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be vaguely successful at doing all of my cooking. It's gonna happen this time. Partly because I know that I want to do this as a pure completion run, and having never done one of those, it's a big thing. It's going to be feel like a big achievement for myself. Whether it actually is, very different question. Hopefully it is, though. That'd be nice. And I know I'm being very silly, but it's still very much like I hope I can manage this. I think I can. I'd like to be able to achieve it. That's kind of the end game goal here. I want to do really well in this. I love Stardew Valley. I love it a bit. So that's why I set myself this challenge. Now, of course, as you can see here, I've got lots and lots more of our stuff to get ready. We still have to harvest all of the lovely goodies from this area here. Got lots more to get ready. Question is, what next? We've got lots of crops that are going to be hopefully ready to harvest soon enough here on the island. And the other big thing that I've got to really think about is that it's definitely trying to figure out where on earth am I going to get all of these blasted crops. How am I going to get them? How am I going to get everything sorted? How am I going to get all the things I need? And how am I going to get all of this damn ginger? I do think I'm going to have to go on a slime murdering spree, because really, in truth, there's they're the easiest way of getting them. To be brutally honest about it, I think that's really the only place I'm going to get them, maybe? But the thing is, though, they're random drops off of the slimes. It's not like it's a guaranteed. So it could just end up being a lot more work again. But we will see. Hopefully we can figure this one out. Because, yeah, I desperately need to get all the slimes killed so I can get all of these lovely ginger roots. Now, I didn't know that ginger root grew along here. So, believe me, I was very pleased to see it along here. But, of course, the more I get, the hopefully better this will all go. Because, yeah, I need it. I need it, man. I need it to live. Because it's critically important. I need it to live. So, let's head on back through here, see if there's anything else that we can do. I don't think there is really along here. What else can we achieve? Probably not much more on the island today, because I've gone through pretty much everything that's here, and I can't see anything else that's kind of use. So maybe we are going to head on ourselves back over to the farm and pretty much get ourselves ready to roll pretty much onto the rest of the week. I should probably check and see how much ginger's left to harvest. I think it's a reasonable quantity. That's the problem. I think that's really the big issue, is that I know I'm going to need more than I would like to admit. But it's also maybe organising what I've actually got on the farm here. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I have on the Ginger Island farm, but how much of it's going to be of immediate use is a very different question, I think. Anyway, that's that area sorted. I'm just going to cut down these trees. I'm using, like a chunk of the Ginger Island as a forestry area. I mean, I want to grow lots of lovely trees. I want to cut them all down. I want to have lots of wood generated, because that'd be good. And I mean, I've got those banana trees that are almost ready, which the sooner those are fully grown, the better, because that means more bananas, which again will make my life a lot easier when it comes to trying to do the what's it called? The teleport obelisk to Ginger Island, because I can't do that without having bananas. So that's a big one. I need the bananas. I need the dragon's teeth. I've got quite a few of them already, to be fair. I think I've got like 5 or 6. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go murdering dragons, but they're not that hard to kill. It's just they're a fiddle pain in the backside. Again, I'm going to purchase another picture from Lupini, because again, that's kind of handy, and not exactly a terrible plan. Might pick up that suit of armor, that looks kind of cool. And I'm going to buy some more seeds again, because the seeds, well, kind of where it's at, to be fair. I need more seeds, because that means I can, again, prepare what's coming for the next coming seasons. And the other advantage I've got here is that if I purchase them now, one of the things I know I'm going to have is, if I do have that shed that has the additional crop growth, like the, what are they called, the planters in it, That way, I can use them to grow things that I wouldn't normally be able to in that season. So being able to grow the stuff that, like, I'm grabbing now, really probably quite handy. And that's kind of the aim on this one. But, all the same, we have a few more things to just organise here. Do I do another little short fishing trip to the bottom of the sea? Maybe. Because it's probably not a terrible plan. Honestly. I mean, it could be a terrible plan. Who knows? Let's see. Well, I'm going to quickly ride on up to the house for the moment. I have some things that I need to organise. Because that's a big thing. I want to be organised, prepared, ready. Because, yes, that feels sensible and prudent. Because why would I not want to be prepared and ready for things? I guess. I know I'm rambling. It's my brain's just going 90 miles a minute at the moment, just going wee. Okay. So I'm going to try and pan for gold here. So we got a grand total of some copper. Again, kind of handy. Not like super useful, but you know, it's handy enough, I guess. As layers, we're going to quickly just pop and grab that. I mean, it'd be nice if we could get anything else out of that. The question is, what? Let's see if we can catch some more general fish nonsense. Because we've got an opportunity to do so, so we might as well, to be fair. Because, honestly, grabbing what we can, it's not a bad idea. We need to catch 20 fish. That's a definitive, this is what we need to do. But can we achieve it within a reasonable time frame? I think we can. I don't think it's going to be impossible to do. I think we've got a reasonable scope to complete what we're after. But it is going to require a little bit of work. Not much, but, you know, actually bothering to do some fishing, which sometimes, I will freely admit, does get a little bit tedious. And I'm sure that's the case for everybody, where they find their fishing just a little bit boring sometimes. It's just the annoying bit of, obviously, trying to catch the lingcod and not having any luck on catching it was very annoying. But, yeah. It's what needs to happen. Need the lingcod, need to get it done. Need to make sure that we have everything we need going forward. And I think that Willy gives you a recipe if you complete this one, which is actually something I would consider quite major, because the more recipes that we can get, the easier we're going to have a time of actually completing everything, really. Because, yeah, we need to get all the recipes, and some of them are kind of locked behind friendships and random quest requirements. So we need to get a hold of all these easy-to-get recipes. Well, I say the easy ones are the hard ones that are difficult to get at the moment. We need to actually be able to get them, which could be easier said than done, I think, is probably the easiest way of putting it. But once we figure it out, then we're pretty much golden. So, let's quickly trot on back through here. Anything else could be thrown in here. And then we're pretty much sorted on that one, aren't we? Okay, let's try this up. Okay, I'm just going to reorganize some of the stuff in here, because there's some stuff I have in my inventory that I don't need. And actually, it kind of is just in the way, which is a shame, because it's just taking up space, and if I don't need it, then let's get rid of it, because it's not needed. Or if I actually happen to have multiples of it, I can probably just reorganize the way that I lay it out and actually have it in the inventory and, you know, again, make my life easier. Because that's going to be a big driving force for myself, is actually making my life easier and making sure that I can get everything sorted and organised. And organised is my biggest weakness because I am not organised in any way, shape or form, and I'm painfully aware of that fact. So that is something that I really need to work on. What I am going to do is I'm just going to quickly nip on down here. Now we've got a little bit of time before the end of the day, thankfully. And I'm just going to try and catch a couple more fish. Again, just because it needs to be done. And really, when it boils down to it, once it's done, and I've caught all the fish, I can't remember what Demetrius gives us. I think he gives you access to the computer, which I've already got. But the thing is, they were both Demetrius quests, and not really much that I could gain from him on that one. Other than maybe a bit of friendship with him, which, fair enough, I guess, kind of handy. I do still find him insanely infuriating as a character, but that is only because he's married to my one true love, which is Robin. And yeah, you ruined my life. How dare you be married to Robin? Okay, let's just quickly potter on over and through and see if we can get anything exciting from here. I mean, hopefully we can. That'd be nice. Anything useful coming up? Well, it's 12:10. We're going to probably have to head back to the farm very shortly. Otherwise, we are going to end up collapsing, and we don't want that. So, I think it is time ready for us to get ready to prepare to head on home. Now, tomorrow's game plan for Wednesday is going to be, number 1, go to Ginger Island. Try and harvest as much ginger as physically possible. 2, try and see how much longer the banana trees have got left before they are fully grown, so that then I can actively try and generate more bananas so that I can have access to the main thing that I really want, which is the teleporting obelisk. Otherwise, it's almost a business as usual is the logic that's running through my head at the moment, going, I don't think there's much else that I can actively achieve that otherwise I can think of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bid you all a fond farewell from this lovely video here. I hope you've all enjoyed tuning in to watching me do mad, silly, zany stuff as I run around my farm. Please do like, share and subscribe because they do really help towards the video. And hopefully once again I'll catch you again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.